He's a fiercely competitive captain of a club hungry for success. Zach Merrett is an impressive young man, a midfield star who is working hard to improve as a leader. I loved sitting down with him to share his story.
Alpha Charlie Echo, comment slate.
Heading into season number 11, mate. Happens pretty quick.
It happens very quick. I feel like I was only sort of year 4 or 5, and now it's you blink and it's year 11.
So what if you could go back and tell, Zach Merrett in 2014, sort of heading sort of through his first full pre-season, what do you know now that you would tell that kid?
Yeah, I mean, I think the importance of stacking days and just enjoying each day for what it is and not being in such a rush. I think it is good to try and get there as quick as you can, but also just enjoying that process of what every day brings. I was just in such a rush at an early age to try and get to where I wanted to get to as quick as I could. I think I probably, not that I didn't enjoy it, but there's certainly aspects I look back, I'm like, I should have just enjoyed being an 18, 19-year-old kid, getting to training and enjoying that. I was always stressing and thinking about the next day and what I could get better at.
And the slow down part, is that something that you've improved with?
Yeah, I think when I say slow down, I probably got better at being away from the club, which I think everyone talks about balance. And for me, there's no balance. I don't think you can have this balance being obsessed with what you want to do or your craft. But for me, I feel like I get a lot of energy back away from the club now. When I walk my dog or have dinner with my mates or my partner, I feel like I'm really able to be present and just relaxed, enjoy that time, not thinking about the kick or the handball I missed or what I could do next week or tomorrow in my training. I feel like I'm really present in those moments. And then when I get in the club, it's fully in and locked in. And I can sort of compartmentalise my life outside of footy and really lock in while I'm here, and then vice versa when I get home, which has been very helpful.
You were talking about like what you do when you're away from here and when you're home. What you were describing was an introvert. Is that pretty much the way you see yourself?
Very much an introvert. I was reflecting driving here today, and I think my mum jokes all the time that she doesn't know how I talk in front of the group. I was a very introverted kid. Wouldn't be seen as a leader at all, I've got no doubt. I just loved sport, loved observing and being very aware of myself and aware of a lot of people and situations around me, but I just never really acted on those things or those things that I seen or was aware of. I just like to just sit there and be comfortable, and I definitely feel like when I'm extrovert or need to be external, it can drain energy as well, given it doesn't come overly natural. So I'm always sort of balancing that internal and external energy, which is hard to be tangible, hard to define, but I can sort of feel it and sense it at the right time, and I know now when to sort of give and take at the right time.
Right, so you are in front of the group, whether it's in the middle of a training session or pre-game, post-game. How do you bring what they need, the best version of you, to the table, with the lessons that and the journey that you've gone on?
Yeah, I think I've been very fortunate to have 3 very different captains before me. To have Joe Watson early on, I was just in awe of him. An 18-year-old kid walking in to see Joe Watson was, well, how good's this? And then to have Brendan Goddard for a year was very different. And then Dyson Heppel, again, very different sort of character, more caring, very, very good with people and connected with his teammates. Joe was very much to just get the job done. Very good player, great leader out the front. And BJ, I thought, for that year when the guys were gone with suspension, was amazing at just being really calm, but also
16,
direct.
right?
In 2016,
Yeah.
Very firm leader, but also very caring and touching on the outside that a lot of people probably didn't see. And have those 3 different types of leaders. For me, I sort of grabbed a little bit from each one. I think for me, I love leading from the front. I love trying to be the best player I can be, but I also do see a side of care and being really firm. So it's a very tough balance. I try and pick the right sort of mode at the right time and sort of change hats, so to speak. Not that I'm not being more authentic or being myself, but I think different moments require sort of different leaders, and whether it's post-game after a win or a loss or training or sometimes great things are happening, and how to celebrate and reward guys for doing good things as well.
I reckon about halfway through my playing days, I stopped making myself, needing to be best on ground or, needing to get 30. Back then, that was like getting 40. But I sort of, a load lifted off my shoulders when I could actually help other guys and for them to be their best. Can you think of a moment where that happened for you, or are you still putting a lot of pressure on yourself?
Yeah, I mean, how did you do it? How did you relieve that? Failure, yeah.
Failure's a good teacher.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it came end of 2020. We've just gone through a bad year, COVID, difficult time. I probably made excuses as well that year. Right. I was playing different roles. I sort of went away, a bit of self-reflection.
Yeah.
What do you want to get out of your career?
How old were you at that
I was
point?
around 24, 25.
Yeah.
I was kicked out of leadership group that year as well. So there's a lot of reflecting going on in a hub, away from home, a lot of discomfort. I came back in 2021 just really eager to get the most out of myself. And that was, for me, was, can I be the best defensive player? So day one of pre-season, I came back basically wanting to tackle, wanting to hurt my teammates, wanting to really set the tone with that's how I want to be now. And it took a bit of a balancing act with, do I have to be the best player? Do I need to get 30? Is it 20? What is it? What's the number? Can you just play without having that big load on your shoulders? And that's something I think probably took till this year even to really let go. I think you feel like you've let go of that expectation on yourself. But this year, I think as captain, naturally or through probably a little bit of reflecting again, it just sort of loaded off and it felt like, how do we win? We have to win here. What do I need to do to win? Not how do I be the best player I can be and then we win. I think it very much switched to how does Essendon win, and I'll play how I need to play in that. It's really hard to let go of because you want to be the best player, and that's something I probably struggled with for a few years. How do I give up that expectation personally, combined with the team?
How much of that was proving yourself as an individual? So not just being good at footy because I want to prove I'm good at footy. How much of it was being good at footy because it proves my worth as a person? Is that something you've unpacked? Is there part of that in you?
Yeah, a little bit. I think my personality type, I think for me, whatever I'm doing at that time, I want to be the best at.
Yeah.
And when I say best, the best version of me. I'm very competitive against the person in the mirror. I rarely compare against other players. I rarely compare against other people. There's a million stats out there. If you wanted to do it, you could. But for me, I pretty much look in the mirror and I know if I've improved or I've been disciplined or I've really had my head down and worked hard throughout the day, which is great because I don't compare and judge other people, but it's tough when you've had a bad day or you've just woken up on the wrong side of the bed and you don't feel like you've gotten better to then look in the mirror and not feel judged or judge yourself. And definitely that self-worth at the moment, when you lose, it's pretty hard to disconnect from the full value identity piece. It's something I'm certainly still working on at the moment.
Who are a couple of guys or girls around the club who you value their opinion and that would, that you could check in with how you're going from external? Obviously, you're hard on yourself, but how they're going, okay, well, I want to make this a focus, say, when you came back in 21 and you wanted to do well defensively. Who are the people that would give you the feedback to say, yep, you're on the path that you said that you were going to go down?
Yeah, it's hard because I think self-awareness for me is the absolute starting point for anything, whether it's a leader or you want to improve something. If you're not self-aware, it's really hard to change the behaviour or what you want to do. So I got feedback back then. That was through coaches. Daniel G in Syracuse is my line coach and has been for 2 years now, and he's quite honest, but also caring. I feel like we're in a great relationship where we can be honest and challenge each other. I think I challenge him equally as much back as a coach, but he's been a great sounding board for me. There's areas of my game I still feel like aren't where I want to get them to, and we're constantly working on those areas. But Brad, obviously, at the top as head coach has been amazing, and he's made it really simple for me. Day one, when we caught up for a coffee, it was be the best player you can be and be yourself. It's a pretty good starting point.
Yeah, and 14 months into that relationship, strong as ever. Looking forward to the season ahead. Yeah,
massively. I mean, I still, he speaks, I'm still in awe a bit of his experiences and his perspective, being in an amazing footy club, playing firstly, but then coaching for 10 years, plus the AFL for 4 years. He's got a great and well-rounded view of things. So me, as a footy head, as a captain, as a player, and potentially coach or administration later, I just love and lap up all his information and just love being a sponge when he talks. So, yeah, I'm really excited what he can keep bringing to the group. And I think first and foremost, it's trying to create an environment and a culture and a department that's world class. That's sort of where we want to get to quickly.
So when he says, and he comes in the interview and he speaks about guys will stand out if they're not doing the right thing, if they're not living the standards that the Essendon football clubs expect. Is that consistent with the way he speaks internally? Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you don't know what you don't know as a player. I think we certainly got challenged from him when he walked in the door. He observed for a few months and observed behaviours probably that weren't in line with being an elite footy club. And we got challenged pretty firmly and between the eyes. And I think guys responded quite well to that. But now it's about levelling up and not just getting back level to other teams. Want to get further ahead or get ahead of other teams. So no doubt guys will stand up, and unfortunately some guys won't, but it'll become quite clear for Brad to make decisions moving forward. How were the last couple of weeks of last year handled? I know that when I watched those performances, if I was a part of Essendon, I would have been bitterly disappointed that that's the way the season finished after a really promising, beginning to the year. How did Brad handle that?
Yeah, it was different. I mean, you go into the Giants game sort of hanging on to finals hopes. We're still live. So 3 hours later, walk off, you've just been thrashed by 20 goals after a pretty good 21 weeks of footy. It was almost a bit of shock of what sort of just happened here, to be honest. And then you go into the last game, you're out of finals, you're playing the top team, who's premiership favourites. 5 guys go out with injury.
Yeah.
You feel like you're hanging on a bit, but you still want to be a proud team and a proud individual player and perform, and then to not really back up again, that was disappointing. And I think it shocked the system pretty quickly. But guys, more so players than coaches, I think, were looking at each other going, what's happened?
Yep.
How do we get better now?
Yeah.
That was for me the pleasing part as captain. It was guys going, what can we do? We can't play. We can't change people's opinions through words. We got that. But let's get to work. What's the next 6 months or 6 weeks look like in the pre-season or the off-season? How do we get fitter and stronger? Can we go watch finals footy?
Yeah.
Let's go and get a box and watch St Kilda, how they defend. Let's watch how the Giants attack. That for me was the pleasing part. I think previous years it was players disappeared. We'll see you in pre-season. Hopefully in 3 months' time you've come back better. Whereas this year it was like, what can we do together? How do we stay together? How do we get fitter, more knowledgeable? Let's watch the best go at it. Let's see how far away we are. So I felt when we got back in pre-season, it was guys that were definitely fitter, but we know all clubs are fitter. It was more, let's get cracking day one. Let's be training at a level that we haven't trained at before. That was, for me, it was pleasing. It didn't take away the disappointment and probably the passion aspect of being a player. You certainly still feel sad or disappointed or embarrassed to an extent, but I just felt the response was far better than it had been in the past.
So would you say you're as prepared? You feel like the team's as prepared as any team you've been involved in?
Yeah, I mean...
Because of that?
Yeah, I think it is. I feel like in the past it's been not individualised, but it's sort of been like, you be the best version of yourself, and hopefully it comes together. It's felt like this pre-season's been very much, how does the Essendon Footy Club perform? How do we do it together? And the line groups are obviously separated at times, but it's always been like, how are we complementing each other? How's Nick Martin going to help off half-back? How's Sam Draper's ruck craft? It's very much together at the moment, which for me is super exciting because I haven't really ever felt that real connectedness as a group. And I know it's a bit of a buzzword probably the last 5 or 6 years, connectedness, but being able to reward and show strengths of all the guys and complement each other, I think is going to have a big impact on our season.
A few individuals, like Mason Redman and his energy and his passion, clearly for footy and for the club, and then to back that up, to re-sign and have other guys, fall into line and commit to the club long term. The next 4 or 5 year period looks pretty stable with that young group. How does that feel as a guy who's had 7 coaches in 10 full seasons, a couple of caretakers in that, but the stability part's going to be pretty important going forward, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, to be frank, I was quite nervous. I'm 28 last year. I understand that it's never a given, but you need to be in a certain demographic and games played typically to be sort of challenging for those top 4 spots. Yeah. And we lost a lot the last 4 or 5 years with Danaher and Sard and Fantasia, McKenna, a lot of guys around my age. So the thought of losing a Parish and a Redman didn't sit very comfortably with me, but the fact that we got them to re-sign through, I guess, the vision that not was being sold but was actioned, and the way that Brad was coaching, the way we were performing, I think those guys see a real future. And then to bring in guys like Gresham, Mackay and Dersma that add to that age demographic or bracket that have played over 50, 70 and 100 games, plus Goldie, it just looks more balanced. And it feels like now training, you're not looking around, and not babysitting, but you're not looking around going, you're not sure what that guy's going to give yet, or this kid's trying to prove himself. It's 12 or 15 guys now that look like they're AFL players and ready to perform consistently, and that I think will give us a better chance.
We caught up, which is, when I reflect on it, I thought it's a little bizarre. Like it was October 2nd, 2017. So I'd only just been ratified to get a new contract. And you're going on your never-ending quest for information, the little grain of sand that's going to make the big difference and take you to be the best you can be. You remember where we met?
I do, at the Gilson.
Yes.
South Yarra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was actually pretty nervous. Obviously, you're an opposition coach, so it was probably a bizarre message you got from me. But I remember asking Tom Langdon, who I was good mates with, if I'll get your number. And I was just keen to pick your brain.
Yeah.
And yeah, luckily you responded and we got a coffee, which I think you shouted me a coffee too, so I probably owe you one.
Bonus. Done that very often. I sent you a message after it. I had a look back and I said, you're on the right path, mate. Make sure to smell the roses as you go. Have you you've been able to do that? Do you realise where you are and what you're doing? And do you have gratitude for this opportunity that's still in front of you, like from this moment on?
Yeah, it's funny. I probably through 2019, 2020 didn't smell the roses at all. I was very much head down. Just wanted to win a flag. How do we win?
Yeah.
Every loss felt like the world was over.
Yeah.
Every win felt like this is amazing. Let's keep going. Probably 2021, after a bad 2020, that I was driving to the G. I remember it so clearly now. We're out of finals. We're playing Richmond, and it had been, 2022, an eventful week with the club, with the coach, a lot going on. And I was driving to play Richmond last game, and I put on some top hits music from the 90s or early 2000s, some really sing-along type pop music that I'm not a singer, but I was singing in the car and I was just by myself in my own thoughts. I'm like, how good is this?
How good?
Like, we're playing at the G in front of Richmond, two big clubs. There's going to be 80,000. Like, life's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I went there. I probably had my best individual game. We got smashed by 60 or 70 points. It was a tough night.
Yeah.
The coach was sacked a week later. It was a tough time, but I just remember that sort of half an hour on the way to the game and the feeling I had of just like everything, just like the weight off my shoulders. And I just felt so clear in the game, so sharp, like really sharp during the game. I'm like, geez, I need to bottle that up. Yeah. So last year, every game I went to, I'd normally just play
the same playlist,
some funny music or just reflect on how lucky and fortunate I am sort of to do what I do. And being able to lead the boys out first now, that is almost the most special moment of the week. I definitely smell the roses now, doing the toss. Being able to speak to 21 other blokes when the crowd's roaring, the siren's about to go, like that stuff is just gold for me and something I'll never get over. That's just almost like pinch myself a moment every week.
When we caught up in 2007, I must admit I didn't know about the background and your mum being diagnosed with MS before you were born. What has that taught you about gratitude and resilience, the way that she's handled that affliction?
I think Mum was so dogged and so resilient to not show any pain or any suffering that, for me, my upbringing felt extremely normal. Whether it be Mum throwing tennis balls to me in the backyard for hours while I'm practicing cricket or coming to watch sport, even though she was either wheelchair-bound or with a walking stick, it was never, ever like a thing that would stop her from doing something. So I just felt it was somewhat normal.
Yeah.
I think my older brother, he was an amazing role model, an amazing friend, and someone I think that probably guarded me a lot from things. And he was a bit older, so he probably experienced it a little bit differently to me. But I just felt, to be honest, really normal. I knew that she was tough. She could see things in hospital or when she get home, or things she couldn't do, or tired after a weekend away in Warrnambool playing cricket or Melbourne playing footy, and then we get home and she's tired for a week. You can sort of observe that stuff, but I was just too focused on doing my own thing, probably.
Yeah, and there's a little bit about swallowing the things that aren't going in your favour, or the things you can't control, and then just moving forward with the things you can.
Yeah, I actually explained this to the boys the other day. I feel like I was a bit of an excuse kid. I love sport. I loved every sport, but I hated losing. I was a sore loser. Would complain or make excuses as a kid. It wasn't my fault that I ever lost. Whether it's table tennis against my grandma or a game of cricket. It was actually my dad. I'd made a very low score in cricket, and I think I blamed the pitch or something. And it was probably the first time he firmly and sternly sort of sat me down and basically just said, don't make excuses, and just hit me straight between the eyes. I would have been 15 or 16 at that age, and from that moment it just completely changed. Sort of just burst a bubble. And to this day, I feel like I'm very strong and very good now at just taking whatever happens. I've had a very indifferent career with coaches, Asada, a lot of players coming and going. It's been a very indifferent career, but everyone's journey is different, and I'm sort of head first into whatever mine looks like.
Well, part of that career was with your brother.
Yeah.
And you said that obviously he was a little bit ahead of you, and you might have had to absorb some different, and protect you in some shape or form. How was that, like putting on the same Guernsey on the MCG playing with your brother?
It was amazing. It was because we were 2.5 years apart growing up. We never actually got to play together growing up. He was very talented junior as well, so he was always ages above. And I think we actually played one game together when I was 8 or 9. I sat on the bench. Used to rock up every week with a jersey, just hoping I could get on, but I only got on once. So we only played a quarter of footy together our whole career until I got to Essendon. And we were texting draft night because there was no real expectation Essendon would take me. And then 2 days later, I'm basically moving down to Melbourne to live with him. So it was a bit of a roller coaster moment. And then 6 months later, I'm running out on Marvel Stadium with a sub vest, but ready to play AFL footy in front of 40,000 with my brother. So it was crazy how quick it happened, but he was amazing, teaching me from how to live life, washing, cooking. How to live an elite lifestyle. He was very disciplined, so he sort of showed me the ropes, how to live 24/7 as an AFL athlete.
Well, I dare say, given as you say, it's been a different career, like the things that have happened around the club. So your first year in 14, heard he comes back in 15, 16, the list turnover, you win your first best and fairest. So I'm pretty sure the conversations with your brother around the dinner table at home would have been crucial just to help you reconcile what was going on around you.
Yeah, it was also unique because he was in and out of the team. I'm the younger brother, so that was always unique because I want to come home and relax and talk footy, but he's obviously going through a very different journey himself. He's playing VFL, half in and out of the team. It's a difficult period for any player that isn't playing regular senior footy. So that was also not challenging, but just unique again. I'm flying to Perth to play AFL and he's going to Windy Hill. It's a different experience, and you obviously don't want him to feel bad. So you're also trying to encourage, but also a younger brother. So that dynamic was a bit unique in itself. But yeah, he was just amazing support. Was never ever jealous. Always backed me up and supported me and encouraged me to perform. So to play 50 games together, I think it's something probably after we finish that we'll look back on with some pretty fun memories.
A couple of years back, you made sure that you caught up with Kobe Bryant. This year, Tom Brady comes out, you catch up with him. Over the years, Joel Selwood, a couple of others. What's one bit of feedback from any one of those guys that you reckon you've taken with you or is front of mind going into this season? Yeah,
I mean, I'm a massive Kobe fan. Absolutely loved him. I've watched hours and hours of vision on interviews, games, absolutely everything he's done. I think for me, it's all about trying to solve the game. And this is probably a hard way to explain it, but for me, I play the game to try and figure it out. And I love that aspect of any sport, any ball sport. You're trying to figure out how do I maximise my team's strengths and my strength to beat the opposition. And that it's such a complex game. It's so grey. But for me, win, lose and draw, that happens. I just get so much enjoyment out of trying to figure it out, how to disrupt a team, how to do things or make decisions or execute with the ball. I love going for kicks that really upsets the opposition defence. I love trying to get guys into their best position to make sure they can succeed as well. And I've seen Kobe talk about you're just figuring out the game, and wins and losses are just a bit of feedback, ultimately.
Well, another Kobe disciple was Scott Pendlebury. He obviously wore the Mamba mentality throughout the year.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to sit with Pendles? And when you talked about solving the game, I reckon that's what Pendles has been working to do for the last 23 years as well.
Yeah, for sure. I was very lucky to play international rules when I was about 21 or 22, so I was the only real young player in that list. And those guys, Fife, Selwood, Dangerfield, Pendlebury, Boak, I was spoiled, to be honest. I was a kid running around and just being a sponge. Every dinner table, every bus trip we had to games, I was just like, how good is this? Asking a million questions. So that was probably the most fun 8 days I've ever had, to be honest. Being around guys that are your role models, you aspire to be like or take nuggets of gold from. Asked a million questions, but all those guys are grateful with their time. So, yeah, I appreciated that trip so much. But, yeah, watching Pendles and what he did in the grand final, especially that last quarter, I sort of enjoyed watching more the way he controlled the game than the way he executed with his skills. He's obviously always a beautiful kick and great decision maker, but the way he executed off ball and basically controlled the whole game as a leader, that's the stuff that I love watching. And ultimately probably won the game.
Well, as a student of the game, you would have observed Collingwood Carlton fans? What about the Essendon faithful? Their energy and getting a little bit of momentum for them. If that comes, you know how lifting that's going to be.
Yeah, I must admit, watching Carlton in the finals, I was happy for Cripper and Walshy because I'm close to them, but no one else really. To see the fans and the passion that their club had showed a glimpse of what would happen if we could get our fans to the G in a first final or an away final. How many fans would support and follow us? I don't need more motivation, but it certainly inspires us.
So I'm an Essendon fan sitting in the stands watching you go about your business. What words are coming to my mind about Zach Merrett this year and in the back end of his career?
Yeah, I mean, I sat down year one, so that's now 11 years ago, which is a little bit scary, with my performance coach, and the question was, what are they going to describe Zach Merrett like in 15 years' time, which was ambitious at the time, given I was a chubby cricketer at pick 26, but it was consistency. That was ultimately what I want. I want to be known for or have a legacy around consistency, whether it be win, lose or draw, interstate, home, raining, 40 degrees. I just want people watching to go, he's consistent. That's probably the real word, or the real consistent performances that I want to be known for, and just being calm. I think as a leader, it's easy to get passionate and you want to help everyone, but just being calm in those situations, I think, is all that your teammates really need.
Keep your head when everyone else is losing theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you've got the right coach for that too, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure.
Mate, you've always gone wide. You've always gathered a lot of information. But whatever you've done it really well to put yourself in the position that you're in. You should be really proud of the development that you've shown on and off the field, mate, and the best is yet to come. All the best,
I appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Cheers. Good to chat.